video session, we're going to look at adding an on-cell click, very similar to what we're doing for rows. But this time we're saying, hey, let's choose the cell click. It's going to integrate and say, we're going to do this on cell. There really are no more further options for you to actually choose when you do this. And the reason is this. Let's look at the code. When we do a cell on click integration, the code behind the scenes is actually doing most of the work. First of all, we're looking at this top section and saying, hey, on the data tables, when I am clicked, when the TD, that means basically table cell, the table data, wherever you clicked, then perform this function. And so we're setting a couple variables at the top. We're setting a variable called columns, which is basically saying in the data table you clicked, of the settings, I'm looking at what the column name was, right? All of the columns. And then I'm also saying what cell was actually picked. And then I'm doing a little calculation here to say, what is the context, or I'm sorry, the index of that. So I found the columns above, and then I'm trying to say, what is the actual position of that cell that you were clicking? So you kind of need to have all of this in there. And then the field is finally the position and getting the actual data out of the stuff that you've calculated above. So this is a little bit more complicated of the JavaScript code to know how to actually get to what you're looking for. But then the rest is pretty similar. I've just happened to change the JSON object that we're going to pass back to FileMaker to say field name and value, so that we are passing what we had clicked up above. So let's go into the demo file and see what this actually does. We are in the video 4.3, adding a cell on click. Let's hit quick start. Last time we were up, we had done 2 options for row clicks. Let's go ahead and duplicate our last script, and we can take this action to duplicate the record and get ourselves in the position of saying this is video 4.3, and then we are going to do a cell on click. And we don't have any options for cells, so we're just going to be doing the one here. Everything else can stay the same. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to just first get rid of the old integration. So by doing that, we remove it. And now we're back to the standard. I do just want to prove out when we do that, we go to the preview, there's no more integrations. So that's how simple it is to clear something or to modify and change it. So if you like something, make sure you lock it down. Let's go to the integrations again, and we're going to do the cell click this time. This one is really has no options for you to select. It's pretty simple because I've already built the code that says, hey, wherever you click, I don't need to tell me what you want to do. It's just basically changing something. But just because there isn't much happening here, this is by default. And you see how this says context? Well, I'm going to just change this name here to say, let's say, business team or business department, whatever that means. Okay, so just to prove to you that by toggling this, we're actually passing in some data to FileMaker as well. So we'll hit submit and close on this. And we can see behind here, the code is a little bit different than it has been for rows, but we're finding something out about how the user clicked in data tables in this top part. And then again, we're being consistent here by constructing our JSON object that we're actually going to pass to FileMaker. But this time we're saying, I'm telling it, we're sending the field name that we declared up above and the value of that cell that we declared up above. And then we're still, modifying this by saying what table from the context and what report name. But you can see how I changed the business department here, table name. I used to be context. So that isn't set in stone. You can control what you want to do. And this report name, these are all options for you. You wouldn't have to include them in your passing to FileMaker. I'm just doing it to show you illustrated. You can add even more things here to your JSON object that would help you perform your script. But all we have to do now is go look at how this function actually works. So on-cell clicks are kind of cool. So why would you need to do this? Let's just first say, let's say we are going to pick 2020 printing. When I click that, I get the field name, company name. It's not the display name, but it's the actual field name. And the report name is video and the table name is business department. that may or may not be the right way, right? It's like, that's not truly what the table name is. And the value is 2020 printing. What if I click this Michigan, what I expect to see is the value Michigan and the field name of state. When I do that, I got the field name of state and the value of Michigan, and the report name is this. I don't really like that the word table name is doing that, but you have to be careful, because when you run your code, whatever you're passing over here, in this case, I'm just going to say free, whatever, free text. So you can say whatever label you want. And if I come back over here and I pass it, and I pass Michigan again, it says free test. So it can be, you can change the way the integration is constructed. And I'm going to put this back to table name here. Actually, I'm going to go back to the settings. I'm going to change this to be back to contacts and submit and close. And this free text test didn't get overwritten. Remember, the integration template only gets written when you first create the record. So if I wanted to say this again, I'd have to say table name to put it back to the way I wanted it. All right, if I click address, I'm getting really cool stuff. So again, why would you want to do this? Think of it in an example of this report. Let's say I'm working for a manufacturing company and they have a list of production orders and SKUs that they're making. Well, if your audience is like, there's something wrong with that production order, and you hit the production order field, you'd want to navigate and go do something with the production order. But if you're hitting the SKU field, you may go want to look up the inventory. So think about why you would want to set those things and control how you actually navigate based on how the user's experience is. So on-sale clicks are pretty straightforward. The real work is in this code here, but that's it. We're going to look at some other button features, which are much more advanced than these sell clicks, but they all have their purpose as long as you guys know what is it that you're trying to do with the DataTables report and its interaction with FileMaker.